Take a deep breath. Right now, exactly 21% of the air filling your lungs is oxygen. We are taught that oxygen equals life, vitality, and healing. So it seems logical to assume that if Earth's oxygen levels suddenly doubled to 42%, we would all become healthier, faster, and stronger. But the reality of a hyper-oxygenated Earth is far darker. It wouldn't be a paradise. It would be a biological and environmental apocalypse. If oxygen levels doubled this exact second, your immediate reaction would be absolute euphoria. Your energy levels would skyrocket. Your focus would sharpen to superhuman levels. For a brief window, athletes would shatter world records without breaking a sweat, and exhaustion would feel like a thing of the past. Your body's engines would be running on high-octane fuel. But this honeymoon phase would last only a few days. Soon, the very gas giving you life would begin to slowly destroy you from the inside out. When our bodies process oxygen, they produce dangerous byproducts called free radicals. Normally, we can manage them, but at 42% oxygen, your system would be overwhelmed. This is called oxygen toxicity. Your lungs would be the first to fail. Fluid would rapidly accumulate in your chest, making every breath feel like inhaling fire. Your vision would blur. Your cells would suffer catastrophic oxidative stress, and your DNA would begin to mutate. Paradoxically, drowning in too much oxygen feels exactly like suffocating. While humanity is collapsing, another group of creatures would be thriving and growing. Insects do not have lungs. They breathe through a network of tiny tubes in their bodies called spiracles, which limits how big they can get based on how much oxygen is in the air. If you double the oxygen, you remove that biological limit entirely. We know exactly what this looks like because it already happened. 300 million years ago, during the Carboniferous period, Earth's oxygen levels were massive. Back then, millipedes grew to the size of crocodiles, and dragonflies had the wingspan of modern hawks. Within a few generations on our new Earth, a simple house spider could grow to the size of a dinner plate. But giant insects wouldn't be our biggest problem. The real danger is hiding in the atmosphere itself. Oxygen doesn't burn, but it acts as a chemical accelerant for everything else that does. At 42% oxygen, the flammability of the entire planet would fundamentally change. A single lightning strike in a damp rainforest wouldn't just scorch a tree, it would trigger an unstoppable global firestorm. Even wet, living wood would burn like dry paper. A dropped match, a spark from a car engine, or a small electrical short could incinerate an entire city within hours. Firefighters would be completely powerless against flames that burn this hot and fast. Beneath the surface of the oceans, the chemistry of the water would shift drastically. The excess oxygen would dissolve into the sea, supercharging certain marine predators while causing mass die-offs of creatures adapted to lower oxygen environments. The fragile balance of the underwater ecosystem would be completely overridden. If the fires didn't destroy everything, the sudden shift in atmospheric pressure and chemistry would trigger extreme weather events. The heavy concentration of oxygen would likely disrupt greenhouse gases, displacing methane and carbon dioxide. Instead of global warming, Earth could plunge into a severe and sudden ice age. This reveals a terrifying and beautiful truth about the air we breathe. We think of oxygen as a gentle, life-giving breeze, but scientifically, it is a highly reactive, corrosive, and volatile element. The only reason it doesn't destroy us is because it is diluted by 78% nitrogen. Life on Earth exists on an invisible, mathematical knife edge. If oxygen drops below 15%, we suffocate. If it rises past 25%, the world burns and mutates. We are not just living on Earth. We are surviving in a perfectly balanced atmospheric cocktail. Every breath you take is a temporary miracle. The atmosphere isn't just keeping you alive. It is holding back an apocalypse of fire, giant insects, and cellular destruction, precisely calibrated at 21%.